Today on Rock the Park, we're testing our limits.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Surviving on only what we can build.
I think the roof needs a little work.
What we can gather.
Oh, that's a bitter piece.
And taking on whatever Mother Nature throws our way.
You can see it. It's coming.
This is survival in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh man, that sounded close too.
And it all starts right now. I'm Jack Stewart. And I'm Colton Smith. We've been buddies for years, and we love exploring the national parks.
It's all about packing up a car and just doing it. Just hitting the road.
Our goal is to visit every national park in this country.
And when you go off the beaten path like we do,
there's no telling what will happen next.
Get set to rock the park.
Welcome to our home, deep within the cold and rainy mountains of the Pacific Northwest.
Our goal on this trip is simple. We want to learn essential survival skills, the kind that can save your life in a dire situation. It's survival time. We're in the Mount Baker-Snoqualmie National Forest, which stretches 140 miles along the western slopes of the Cascade Range, from Canada to the northern boundary of Mount Rainier National Park. It encompasses over 1 million acres of rivers, lakes, and even glaciers and volcanoes.
We've done a lot out in the wilderness, and we've never found ourselves in an actual survival situation.
The good news is, today we're going out just to learn these skills. But tomorrow, we're all on our own. To prepare for that, we're meeting up with forest ranger and survival expert Rourke McDermott for some intense hands-on training in some of the coolest, wettest conditions you can ask for.
The goal in this type of a situation is definitely fire and shelter, staying dry and staying warm. From this point on, we're going to look for materials that are going to be good for making fire tools, and then we're going to look for tinder.
Today's classroom is near the Skagit River, known for its large wintering bald eagle population and abundant stocks of trout and salmon.
Now this is a good spot. Just go ahead and pick a nice red one.
Nice.
Whether it's food or something else, rule number one is always keeping your eyes peeled for fire-starting materials that double as insulation.
Stuff as many dry grasses into our pants and into our jacket, and that just creates more of an insulative space.
Dry tinder is one of the materials we'll need to create fire in this tough environment. But first, it pays to fuel up whatever way we can. So this actually has protein in it.
Absolutely.
Wow. Catkins are tiny flower clusters on alder trees that store pollen and protein during the cold winter months. Just chew them up and swallow?
Chew it up, yep. Not the most tasty thing, a little bitter, but kind of chalky.
Yes, chalky, yes.
I was gonna say it's not that bad. The taste creeps up.
Yeah, it does.
It's got an after bite.
Right.
The Catkins diet, not that good. Thankfully, the forest offers up a buffet of choices.
One way you know it's licorice fern is you see these little bumps.
Oh, yeah. Licorice fern thrives in wet environments. Local tribes relied on the peeled roots to treat colds and sore throats.
Whoa, holy cow. That's very, very good.
Yeah, it is. It definitely has like a leafy taste to it, but it's overwhelmed by that really strong flavor.
I guess that's what's surprising. There's actually flavor.
That'll be our dessert.
Yeah. But no sweets, we gotta eat the other stuff first.
Enough snacking. In a cold and wet environment like this, building a fire is essential, and it isn't easy. Survivalists call this the bow drill method. It uses the leverage of a rope or shoelace strung into a bow to rotate the spindle or drill at high speeds, creating friction that hopefully produces an ember.
And you just get this thing started.
Whoa. You can already smell it. Look at it, it's smoking.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah! All right, Roar! Yeah!
Our excitement doesn't last long. With this rain, keeping the fire going is nearly impossible, so we try another technique called the hand drill method.
Go ahead and get ready, Colton.
Yep.
We've been trying for a while now, and nothing has started. It's getting to the point where we just need to start building our shelter. In the end, when it's this wet, even the experts have to resort to more dependable methods like flint and steel.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Warm.
It's time to set up a shelter. Rourke tells us the first step is to find a crossbeam. Next, we're gonna have to build a frame from sturdy sticks and branches.
And after that, we'll pile on sticks, dirt, moss, whatever debris we can find that will help contain heat and protect us from wind, rain, and the elements.
We've got the concept down, but I'm not exactly sold on this quite yet. I don't see how leaves and sticks are gonna be able to keep us dry in weather like this.
So I noticed that you guys are just grabbing one stick at a time.
Eventually, the shelter starts to take shape.
I think the roof needs a little work.
Other than the porous roof, how you feel?
You can definitely see that the tighter you make this, the warmer it's gonna be.
We definitely would need to pile more and more debris to make it through the night, but you can see already how this is gonna work, and I'm feeling so much better about tomorrow.
If you had to just give us one piece of extra advice for tomorrow, what would it be?
I would start earlier in the day. If there is a window where the sun is out, that's a good time to make fire.
All right, toss on our bags and head back.
One more warm night.
Today was the practice test. Tomorrow is the final exam.
Tomorrow's field exam will pit us against the elements.
Look at this, you could wring this out like a sponge.
And expose our limitations.
The sooner we get debris on there, the better chance we have of at least keeping this somewhat dry. You can see it. It's coming quickly.
It's early morning in the Mount Baker-Snoqualmie National Forest in Washington State, and we're about to take on Mother Nature.
Checking the weather forecast today, it says 100% chance of rain. I'm looking at this as an opportunity to see if we can build a real shelter that can hold out the rain.
Well, we wanted to test our survival skills. This will test us.
Yesterday, we received an 8-hour crash course in winter survival. Today, we're on our own, heading 2 miles out into the wilderness to put our new skills into practice.
4 things I want to accomplish today. I want to get a shelter built. I want to try to get a fire started so that way we can collect water, get that purified, and then lastly, it's collecting food.
Let's get to work.
All right.
An overnight downpour makes just getting there more difficult.
This shows you how quickly things can change in the Pacific Northwest.
I never thought I would say this, but I wish it was colder and snowier.
It's time to get down to business. Step 1, find dry materials for our fire.
So here's a little bit of tinder, and because of the rain we've gotten, it's extremely wet. Look at this, you could wring this out like a sponge.
We've got some tinder. There's not a lot of it and it's soaking wet, but we gotta collect this stuff now and get it in our jacket so it can dry out.
Now it's time to find a place to build our shelter.
There are a lot of trees in these woods, but the cedar trees we know will give us a little extra protection and give us a leg up on building this shelter.
All right,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think this is it. I think this is home.
Okay, let's start building.
Yep. Oh boy.
If we do it right, our shelter should keep us warm and dry. But with the rain, the trick will be finding a piece of sturdy wood to use for our main support beam.
How's that?
Now let's see if this thing's strong enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got our frame.
This main support will provide the foundation for our side beams. They've got to be strong enough to support the pounds and pounds of debris we'll be piling on later. There's tons of wood out here, but you gotta break them off, you gotta bring them back. It's just a tedious cycle.
Always be careful, kids. Okay, this is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we can at least start laying down some debris.
The sooner we get debris on there, the better chance we have of at least keeping this somewhat dry. You can see it. It's coming quickly.
When you're making a debris hut, you want to start from the bottom. You start building these layers, which are essentially shingles.
Jack's got the shelter under control. Now, I'm gonna go try to find some fire-making tools. I'm looking for a fire hearth. That's the board we'll need to hopefully make fire using the hand drill method.
The hearth has got to be dry because we're going to be using friction to try to create a spark. Now, if it's wet, there's no way that's going to work. Shoot. It's too wet. One thing that's making trouncing through these forests a little easier is finding these game trails. Look at this. We've got a nice
elk print. Rocky Mountain elk are common here. They winter in low-lying forests and floodplains like this one, feeding on young trees and grasses. A little more hiking, and I find something that could serve as our fire hearth.
This could work. A little smaller than I would like it to be, but more importantly, it is dry. So, it may be our best option. All right, to camp.
Back at camp, it's trial by fire.
I smell the scent of burning wood. Maybe, or maybe I'm going crazy. I'm not sure.
And winter in the Pacific Northwest tosses another curveball our way.
It's winter in the wet and rugged Mount Baker-Snoqualmie National Forest in Washington State. We're putting into practice skills and techniques that could save our lives in an actual survival situation. We go out and rough it a lot, but being out here today has shown me how many luxuries we actually take with us every time we go out into the wilderness. Luxuries like a tent. Fortunately, a break in the rain gave us time to build a shelter that should keep us warm and dry tonight. But now, that's the least of our worries. Whoa, starting to get a little windy.
Yeah, it is.
When we put our shelter up, we made sure to stay away from any dead trees. But hearing all of these crashing limbs around us, it definitely is a little unnerving.
The wind has picked up quite a bit. In a survival situation, we are in the best spot. We're underneath a nice solid tree, but this is not something to mess with. With only a few hours left of daylight, Colton is working on our fire while I head out to find some kind of food that will hold us through the night. So this stuff right here is called usnea. Now Rourke told us that you could brew this into a tea, which is exactly what I plan to do if Colton gets that fire going. But it's also very useful if you get cuts out here, because what you can do is you can chew this up, take it out of your mouth, and put it on the cuts, and it will bring the swelling down. There's a lot of food waiting to be found in this wilderness, even in the dead of winter. It's always important to make sure you know how to identify any sort of plant that you're gonna eat when you're out in the wild. We can tell that this is a licorice fern because of these orangish red dots that are under the leaves. One more of these, and we got ourselves a nice dessert.
Back at camp, the reality of building a fire without tools is painfully setting in.
Gosh dang it.
Finding this piece of wood was incredibly difficult, and that was the easy part. Now, I actually have to try to make a fire with it. The wood is from a downed cottonwood tree. It's great for starting fires if it's dry enough.
Right now I'm trying to whittle away a good hearth board, and then I'll put the spindle right there and hopefully try to get something.
This simple hand drill method takes a lot of elbow grease. The idea is to use your hands and a downward pressure to rotate the spindle and spark a fire on the board.
I smell the scent of burning wood. Maybe, or maybe I'm going crazy. I'm not sure. That is a lot of work. It'd be very nice if that work paid off.
I can only hope that Jack is coming up with some sort of food, because I'm not doing too well on my end.
No fire.
No fire.
Colton's been at this thing over an hour. If we can't spark an ember with both of us working, our fire may be a lost cause.
Oh, gosh, I got nothing left.
I don't know, dude. I think it's a no-go.
I think it's done. There's no way.
I knew that fire would be a long shot. Don't get me wrong, it would have been nice. But we've got a shelter built, we have some food, and right now the weather is still stable. We're doing pretty well.
We've expended a lot of energy today getting our camp in order. The priority now is fueling up on whatever calories and nutrients Jack was able to find.
What is this? Is this the entree?
Protein. For a pair of guys used to eating a lot and eating often, a dinner like this leaves a lot to be desired.
Tastes like a vegetable of some kind. I think it's one of the vegetables that I never wanted to eat.
Alder catkins have a nutty or piney taste, and if not boiled, can also be bitter. They contain a lot of nutrients, but it would take around half a gallon of these things just to get us even a half an ounce of protein. My measly little forage isn't even close.
Skipping ahead to a dessert of licorice ferns is as simple as peeling the tough bark off the tender inner root.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's the licorice.
Oh my gosh. It's weird because it does have that really strong, sweet-ish taste.
Yeah.
But it ends with that planty aftertaste, you know?
Most likely because it's a root that you found in a tree.
All right, man. It's starting to get dark. It's about to get real.
Time to get into our primitive shelter.
All right. Let's do it.
Hey, thanks for dinner, by the way.
You're welcome.
Our shelter was built to protect us from rain and the elements.
But what happens when the whole forest starts coming down around you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that sounded close, too.
The sun is setting in Washington state, and the temperatures are expected to dip to around 35 degrees tonight. And while we successfully built a shelter and foraged a bite or two to eat, building a fire from scratch in these conditions was not meant to be.
I think it's a no-go. I think it's done. There's no way.
Without that fire, purifying water won't be possible this trip because we purposely left our water filters at home.
You never want to go out into the wilderness without enough water to drink. But we pre-hydrated this morning, and if we have to go with just a few sips tonight, we will be completely fine.
We put in the work today, that's for sure. We got our shelter built. It looks like it's solid, but the real test is gonna be tonight.
If the rain holds out, this could be easy. If it starts up, it could be a long night.
I close up our makeshift door, and we're in.
It's doing its job right now. You can feel that it's starting to warm up in here a bit.
Yeah, we definitely have enough room. I mean, for just eyeballing it, this is definitely an accomplishment that we're able to fit two grown men inside of this.
Right as I start to get a little comfortable inside the shelter, I start seeing that we are not the only inhabitants of our little dwelling.
Oh, look, there's one on me.
What? Where?
Spider.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Film it.
Oh, get off. No. Get off. No, don't flick them towards me.
I don't like spiders, not a huge fan. But they just get out of my face. We'll all get through this night in one piece.
We've been lucky enough to avoid rain all day, and we're both feeling good about getting some sleep tonight, until...
So we were both just jostled awake because the wind has just picked up and we're hearing branches just falling around us.
Oh my gosh, listen to that wind.
Ooh, man, did you hear that one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that sounded close, too.
No, I mean, think about it. We're right up against this tree. We've got all those branches above us. This is the best spot we could be in.
Yeah. We just gotta hope for the best. All right, I'm turning this thing off.
The wind definitely was at its peak sometime in the middle of the night, but it slowly got a little better. Guess it's time to get out of this thing and see what the damage is.
So this is kind of crazy. I mean, we can see there's a lot of little debris here, small sticks, but this one over here, this is definitely what we heard last night.
This is why you build a shelter in a spot like this under a tree. It's because we've got all of this protection up here with these branches, which are stopping the major limbs from coming down and crashing on us.
I mean, all in all, we stayed dry, we were nice and warm, shelter held strong. I mean, that's mission accomplished right there.
The biggest lesson that I'm taking away from this is that you have to be prepared for anything. We started off in frigid temperatures, covered in snow, then it started raining, and then all of a sudden it got warm.
And you can be prepared, but there's no playbook for this. Something always can happen.
This is a journey that can take you your whole life to learn. We've got a few little skills, but there is so much more that we need to learn.
You hit on something very important, and that's the more that we explore the national parks, the public lands, you become wiser. You become more in tune with your surroundings, and you start to realize, I need to start learning new skills. I need to learn these survival techniques because I respect these places so much, and I know that they are wild.
Learning wilderness survival skills doesn't just prepare you for the future, it connects you to a place in ways you've never imagined. And remember, Hey, if we can do it, so can you.
So the next chance you get, go out and rock the park.
Not bad.
It's really good. Kind of almost tastes like a dried, like, orange.
Yeah. There's a reason you don't see many dried oranges in the supermarket.
Oh, not bad though. I mean,
It's not bad.
if you're surviving, I would imagine this is kind of the cream of the crop.
This is it right here.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave any questions or comments that you have.
And please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come.